Hello, I'm Lizzy.
And I'm Izzy, and we need help.
Each week we stumble through a new book, method, or concept that might take us one step closer to being our best self.
Yes, we make fun of ourselves.
And others.
But mostly just ourselves. So here is to seriously not taking self-help quite so seriously.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Lizzy.
And I'm Izzy, and this is the We Need Help podcast.
Today we are going to bask in Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, Creative Living Beyond Fear. This book is an absolute joy to read. She is amazing. She talks about her creative process. She talks about fear and how she invites it to ride along with her, but never lets it make any choices. And we need help, so much help with creativity.
Yes, we do. We do need help with that. So let's talk Big Magic.
Yay! So I absolutely adored this book, and I have to say I've read it probably 13 times.
That's awesome. So are you a believer in magic?
I believe in everything.
There ain't nothing I don't believe in.
Anything that doesn't add up, I am in. That's what I like. I believe in. Do you believe in magic? Yes, I do. Hell yes. I believe in it. And something just said failed on here.
I saw that, but I think that was from the
other rendering. Well, then let's just keep this bitch going. Awesome. I want everyone out there to know I'm sporting a Nicolas Cage t-shirt.
Is that from Raising Arizona?
Yes, this is Raising Arizona.
I love Nicolas Cage so much.
I love you, Nick Cage. Love you. That's big magic right there.
That's big magic.
Yes.
I was in love, speaking of magic, I was totally in love with the magician, David Copperfield. I had a crush on him. We saw him. I remember my parents took me to a David Copperfield show, and he was doing something with ducks at the time. I don't remember what it was. He was I don't know what he was doing with the ducks. He was pulling them out of a hat.
It turned you on.
I was like,
either way, it was a big turn
I was
on.
like, he was hot. I mean, he was, tall, dark, and handsome. And then he had foul.
He had his ducks in a row, if you know what I mean.
Wank. And I remember I got his autograph. We had to stand in a huge line.
And did you walk up to him and did he make you disappear?
Oof.
And I was gone for a decade.
Yeah. He didn't validate my feelings. But
validate you.
And I remember he signed and he smiled at me, and I
would like to say fuck you, David Copperfield. Fuck you.
Is David Copperfield still around?
Let's afterbirth that, because I don't know. Well, we're going to have to check. Let's stalk David Copperfield after this.
Okay, we're stalking a couple things. We're stalking because I have a friend that looks exactly like Keanu Reeves' girlfriend. So we got to stalk Keanu Reeves' girlfriend. We got to stalk David Copperfield. We got
what else are we going to stalk? I don't know. Nick Cage. I don't know what he's doing today.
Yeah. Let's do it. Nick Cage.
Love you, Nikki.
I'm not stalking you, by the way. You're out of milk.
Could you pick up more half and half for you?
Yeah. I'm worried.
It's not like you. Not I know. David Copperfield. Let's talk about this. He hates you.
Yeah. And I love him.
Love-hate her first love-hate relationship.
Yeah. Now there's because there's always an on-trend magician.
David Blaine I liked him for a while. I don't like him now.
Did you have a crush?
No.
Okay.
No, my first crush was Wham. George Michael.
George Michael. That was my first crush.
Loved him. Broke up with him for Duran Duran. Broke up with Duran Duran for Bon Jovi. Broke up with Bon Jovi for Axl Rose.
Ooh.
And Axel and I kind of lost touch somewhere in my
You grew apart.
Beastie Boy.
You grew apart.
We grew apart. And it got replaced with, oh God, I don't know who I liked after that. And I never liked anyone ever again. Axel, you ruined me.
You ruined her. She's a ruined woman. I went through a Jim Morrison phase, which is
I did that. Mm-hmm.
Dead guys. So I went through a Jim Morrison phase. And there was a guy at my university who looked a little like him. And I fell in love with him deeply. And he did not.
Did he know it?
Yes, and he didn't feel the same way about me. And then about he really broke my heart. I was crushed. And
he's a dick.
And years later, I'm hanging out in Milwaukee at a park.
Wisconsin?
Yeah, that's where I went to school. I went to Marquette University. Okay. Hanging out in Milwaukee, looking fine because I had been, exercising, and I was in my 20s and I was just living it up.
Living it.
And I hear his voice. He had this really deep,
every lover,
yeah. He had the Jim Morrison voice.
Your lover as she's walking out the door.
You sound like Ethel Merman singing the door. Ethel Merman sings the Doors.
Okay, I gotta say I did not prepare for that, and it just came out magical like that. That's how you know you have a creative genius.
That's called black magic.
That's called bad magic.
That's bad juju. So, hear this voice. Hello, Isabella. And I was like, you feel that in the pit, just felt it in the pit of my stomach. And I turn around and I don't see him. I'm like, where is
he in the tree?
Yeah. He had lost all his beautiful hair. And he had gained a significant amount of weight, which is fine, but I just wasn't expecting it because he was tall. He was Jim Morrison. He had turned into the Jim Morrison.
This feels like when you tell somebody, for no reason, that he was black, and not that there's anything wrong with that. You just said he had put on some weight, not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. He just was different.
He was bald. Not that I don't like bald people.
I don't. But he had turned into the bathtub Dead in the Bathtub Jim Morrison.
Oh.
Plus he was wearing LL Bean, and he used to wear
you, boy.
alternative t-shirts, and then I'm like, hey, and he was like,
LL Bean?
Yeah, he's like, you're looking great. And I was like, you're looking different. and I'm like, what are you doing? And I thought he was going to say, I just wrote a book because he was a poet. He's like, I'm working in an IT company, which there's also nothing wrong with that. But
you have nothing against IT people.
But he was no longer Jim Morrison. And I was,
no.
So I think rejection is the universe protection, So.
Oh yeah, you could have locked in with that, and today you would be on vacation at Walt Disney.
Yeah, knowing how to work Windows 2021 or whatever.
Yeah. You could have Windows 41, and you would probably be wearing, what would you be wearing? Khakis?
Khakis. I would be wearing khaki shorts.
Not that there's anything wrong with people who wear khaki. Okay.
I'd be wearing culottes.
Oh, not that there's a lot wrong with culottes. Let's just be honest. I
don't
judge
even know
you.
what culottes are. I just love that word, culottes. Are those really long, weird shorts?
Well, they put cool and lots together. That's a whole lot of cool.
That's not cool at all.
That's I think your vagina's cool. It's you're cool. You have nothing restricting your hoo-ha.
They couldn't call it windy vag shorts or something.
Hot crotch no more.
Culotte.
Yeah. Swamp to the ass, not. Okay, now you know what? This is so classy. Let's talk about Elizabeth Gilbert now.
Yeah, we need to
because
just talk about Elizabeth Gilbert. We
I
need to
feel
move
like
on.
this is the perfect entryway.
She would
A
think
super
so.
cool vagina,
Yeah,
Elizabeth Gilbert.
I
Link.
completely agree, and I love your segue. So
Yes.
we all know Elizabeth Gilbert. She wrote Eat, Pray, Love, which then
Oh,
Julie Roberts decided to steal her thunder and star in the movie.
yeah. So
But
now,
that's what she's known for.
for a while there, I just pictured Julia Roberts writing the book. Did you?
I did
After that movie? Another Julia masterpiece.
She's
Thank
so
you.
talented.
Yeah, she's amazing. And all this from a prostitute.
So, Eat, Pray, Love. She's written for a lot of publications. I mean, New York Times, Allure, Real Simple, GQ, Travel and Leisure, you name it, she's written for it. She's a journalist. She has been married 3 times. And yeah, her first marriage didn't really work out too well. Her second marriage was to the Brazilian who she mentions in Eat, Pray, Love. And then her last marriage, which I just think is adorable, she married her best friend.
I would marry you.
I would marry you.
Aww.
She married her hairdresser, Rhea Elias, and they married on June 6th, which is a sign because
Jason and I married on June 6th.
And
that's like big magic.
Yeah, that is big magic. I love those little signs from the universe, and I think that's big magic for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Rhea passed away on January 4th, 2018. She had terminal cancer, and that's actually the reason that Liz, we like to call her Liz.
We call her Liz now because we've read her book several times. So
yeah, we feel very close to her. So Liz left her husband because she couldn't imagine. She realized she sort of loved her bestie, and she couldn't imagine not spending every single last moment with her that she could. And incidentally, Rhea is also an author, and she wrote a book which sounds awesome, Harley Loco, a memoir of hard living, hair, and post-punk from the Middle East to the Lower East Side, which I think sounds really awesome.
I love that. I think we should read that sometime.
I think so too. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it for sure. And I think my favorite little tidbit about Liz is that she is a self-proclaimed seduction addict, which she just loves seducing people. Like, she gets off on that.
I love it. I think I went through a seduction phase.
Yeah.
I successfully seduced one man. One. Yeah. That's what I got going for me. And it's not the one I'm married to.
Sorry, Jason.
No, he likes me for my beef bourguignon.
For your coq au vin.
Yeah.
Or is that did I mispronounce that? Coco vin. So she starts off the book. Let's get into big magic. She starts off by listing basically all her fears. She said a lot of times we get blocked off from creativity by fear, things we're afraid of. And she has a whole laundry list of fears, which I'm going to read through quickly. And you can tell me which ones kind of resonate for you. So,
okay.
She starts off. She says, let me list for you some of the many ways in which you might be afraid to live a more creative life. You're afraid you have no talent. You're afraid you're going to be rejected or criticized or ridiculed or misunderstood or, worst of all, ignored.
Oh, my God. Yes.
You're afraid there's no market for your creativity and therefore no point in pursuing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
You're afraid somebody else already did it better.
Yeah.
You're afraid everybody else already did it better.
Yeah.
You're afraid somebody will steal your ideas, so it's safer to keep them hidden forever in the dark.
I've actually done that.
You're afraid you won't be taken seriously.
I'm afraid I will be taken seriously.
You're afraid your work isn't politically, emotionally, or artistically important enough to change anyone's life.
I know it's not.
You're afraid your dreams are embarrassing. You're afraid that someday you look back on your creative endeavors as having been a giant waste of time, effort, and money.
Yes.
You're afraid you don't have the right kind of discipline. You're afraid you don't have the right kind of workspace or financial freedom or empty hours in which to focus on invention or exploration.
I'm 1,000% sure I'm going to ruin this for all of us. Yes.
You're afraid you don't have the right kind of training or degree.
I know I don't.
You're afraid you're too fat. I don't know what this has to do with creativity exactly, but experience has taught me that most of us are afraid we're too fat. So let's just put that on the anxiety list for good measure.
Are you afraid you're too fat?
No.
I'm not either.
No, because I'm not. So,
No.
but
No, you're not.
it's so funny. It's not funny. It's just a fact. It took me a long time to realize I'm not fat.
Really?
Yeah. Like I just like a few years ago, realized like, Isabella, you're not fat. I always thought I was.
Yeah.
And that's weird. So
I've never been fat. I've been fatter than I've never been a fat person. But I fucking hate that word.
yeah, I don't like that word either.
It offends me so. It's such a shit word.
Yeah. It's no good. You're afraid of being exposed as a hack, a fool, a dilettante, or a narcissist.
Yes, and yes, and I'm 100% sure of that.
If I knew what a dilettante was, I might be afraid of it, but I don't.
Yeah, I feel like, is that like somebody who knits or something?
So, or like a debutante, like
it's like a dilettante is like a debutante that like got caught in the coat check with. I don't know where that came from, but you know what I mean.
With a busboy, yeah. You're afraid of upsetting your family with what you may reveal.
Not that there's anything wrong with busboys.
Or dilettantes. This one I'm afraid of. You're afraid of upsetting your family with what you may reveal.
1,000 and I mean it's 1,000% and I 100% will. Is that math? Did I just do math right now?
When somebody starts doing math, I go fight or flight. I just go flight. So my brain, when you started saying numbers, my brain literally left the room.
I know anything that comes out the same every time, I want nothing to do with. Everyone knows that.
I don't even know what you said, like for the last
I don't know what I said either.
seconds.
I don't know what I said for the last hour.
You're afraid of what your peers and coworkers will say if you express your personal truth aloud.
Yes.
You're afraid of unleashing your innermost demons. And
those demons.
And you really don't want to encounter your innermost
I'll
demons.
rebuke you.
The power of Christ compels you. I need an old priest and a young priest. Bring them on in.
I'll be over here rocking.
You're afraid your best work is behind you.
What? There's someone behind me?
Oh my God.
My best work is behind me. That's my butt. Oh my God, we're 12 and a half years old.
We are. You're afraid you never had any best work to begin with. You're afraid you neglected your creativity for so long that now you can never get it back. You're afraid you're too old to start. You're afraid you're too young to start. You're afraid because something went well in your life once.
Even sun shines on a dog's ass sometimes.
So obviously nothing can ever go well again.
Okay, do you have a cousin that thinks like that?
I do.
I have a cousin. We all have that fucking cousin on Facebook. You know who you are.
Yeah.
Can't stop bitching. Can't stop. Nothing ever goes right for this cousin.
You're afraid because nothing has ever gone well in your life, so why bother trying?
Mm-hmm.
And you're afraid of being a one-hit wonder. You're afraid of being a no-hit wonder. And the list goes on. And she just said, okay, let's stop right there. Yeah. So, so that's a lot. And, you know, I completely agree. I think fear has blocked me off creatively completely from childhood.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a hack when I was a child. Oh my gosh, being liked and admired was like so much more important than actually enjoying what I was doing or creating something. Like I had such a fear of what other people thought of me that I started playing an instrument. I played the saxophone. When we had to choose an instrument.
Sax.
Listen to this. Listen to why.
Okay.
Because it was huge and ostentatious. And I was like, I want to annoy people and shock people. So I chose the biggest instrument I could at the time.
Okay. Well, step back. I chose my instrument, which is the flute. This is how you know you're a fucking loser, because it was the lightest to carry home. I legit thought of the logistics, and I didn't want to carry anything heavy.
You're so lazy.
Lazy. But smart. I'm just like, okay, well, I mean, I'm going to have to take the bus home.
Yeah.
So I better pick the lightest one.
Oh my God. I picked the biggest one, and I was more in fear of like what people thought of me when I played. So we had a concert and I pretended to play. I was not blowing into the thing. I was pretending to blow into the saxophone and pretending because I couldn't make a mistake.
Same thing. I did the exact. I looked into my mom's eyes in the audience. And when I picked the flute, my mom was so excited about me picking the flute. She thought, and I quote, "She's going to be the next Jethro Tull." Let me tell you what she got. She got the mime of Jethro Tull.
Skating away, yay! Skating away, yay!
Oh, good.
So wait, did
God.
you? But you faked it as well?
Oh yeah, I faked the whole thing because I was terrified of doing something wrong.
Me too. I was terrified. They're all gonna laugh at you. You know, it was that thing. What else? Oh, this is really bad. I've never admitted this ever. But
okay,
I'm going to
admit
it.
I'm
going to admit it.
I'm going to hunker down.
I wrote a short story in 7th grade.
Stop.
I copied it. From like a children's magazine I found somewhere, word for word. And my teacher...
There's a highlight somewhere that's really upset. There's a writer for highlights that's like, God damn it.
Yeah, and I think only my best friend in 7th grade knows. And my teacher, like...
How has she been able to live with this secret for as long as she has?
I don't know. I think I got to make amends. Like, this is...
Somebody needs a phone call at least. You might want to send a basket.
She made me read it in front of the class because it was so good. It was really good.
Oh, of course it was. It was written by like an adult, like pro writer.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Elizabeth Gilbert probably wrote it.
I'm so sorry, Liz.
I'd like to read my story. Pray, eat, love. Slightly different than eat, pray, love.
Did you write this, Isabella? Yeah, I wrote this.
It's wheat, lay, blove. Wow, you're quite the writer.
Holy shit. I mean, and awful, just awful, you know?
Yeah.
And, yeah, I was a hack.
You were a liar.
I was a liar because I wanted to be admired and liked, and I didn't focus on what I enjoyed doing. I didn't focus on bringing out the inner, it was all about what you thought of me. So fear definitely
was in the driver's seat.
Yeah, it was in the driver's seat. It was definitely in the driver's seat.
Well, I made my mom take the Guess Jean label off of the Guess jeans that no longer fit and put it on jeans. That's how much I cared about people's thoughts about me.
Yeah.
I was like in Toughskins with a Guess label. Sears
It's
tough
just
skin.
transferring from pants to pants to pants.
You have a lot of Guess jeans.
Why do your jeans say Levi's and Guess?
I paid extra for that.
Yeah. It's a merger, you fuckers.
God, you're so behind the times.
Oh my God.
How do you not know this? Oh my God.
Seriously. Anyway.
And you know what? Kids just aren't nice, but whatever.
Yeah, they're not. So there you go. And she writes a lot about fear, like how she doesn't say to get rid of the fear, because that isn't good either. She said, when people try to kill off their fear, they inadvertently kill off their creativity in the process. She
describes them as conjoined twins, or whatever. Or is that what they're called?
Conjoined, yeah, like you can't hack them apart.
They share organs.
Yeah.
Siamese twins, is that? I don't know what's politically correct.
I think conjoined. I don't think
Siamese is no longer.
That's because
and are we going to get letters about this? Because there's Siamese cats.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with there's anything wrong with
that. There's anything wrong with that. The cats or the twins,
right?
Where are Siamese people from?
Siam.
Okay, we're gonna afterbirth this, right?
We have so much on the afterbirth list.
Yeah.
So what else does she? Can you explain the conjoined fear and the creativity a little bit?
You can't have one without the other. So she always invites fear to. Oh, that was fancy. So she always invites fear to ride along with her when she's going to do something creative. But she has rules for fear. Fear, you can come, but you cannot make any choices. You can't even pick a song on the radio. You can never give the directions. And under no circumstances are you ever to drive. And the way that she says it is just, I'm paraphrasing there because that's what I do. But the way she says it is so awesome. It's like this woman is, and as you know, because you stole her story in 7th grade.
Yeah.
She's just like the most beautiful writer.
She is.
Like ever.
Yeah. It's very lyrical and it's easy,
It's so comfortable.
It's very comfortable and it's very nice. And I love that because I think I did try to kill off my fear. And I did kill off my creativity.
Well, people say to be fearless.
No.
You're supposed to be a fearless girl. I'm like, well, that's not going to work out because I'm fucking terrified of everything.
Yeah. I think it's just doing what you love despite the fear. And it's becoming okay with fear. And she says that too. She said, if I can relax, fear relaxes too. And just being like, okay, it's here.
Yeah.
And I really tried to kill off my fear. And, as you know, with alcohol.
You really tried. I
really tried because she says this, I'm going to quote her because it's a better quote than I could come up with. I was a sensitive and easily traumatized creature.
She's going to say it's hers.
This is my quote.
I'd like to quote myself, Elizabeth Gilbert.
I was a sensitive and easily traumatized creature. And and I was full of fear. And,
I was too.
I remember what I really loved to do in high school and in junior high was acting. I loved the theater. I could do it. I could memorize lines. I loved embodying whatever character with my whole self.
Yes.
And I tried out for drama club in high school and I mispronounced one word.
Oh no.
And I left the audition. And it was moi. It was the French word, and I was supposed to say.
All right, do the line.
I was supposed to say who moi, and I said who moi.
Moi.
And totally
What?
started stammering and just left.
You died that day.
I died. And I remember, I think I started even drinking shortly
I'm like
thereafter.
so embarrassed for you in my armpits. Like it hurts. It's so bad. Like just thinking of that, like, oh.
It was really painful, and I never went back. And I stopped that day. My acting career ended. I said, no way.
And you could have been in Eat, Pray, Love and written Eat, Pray,
I could have
Love.
starred in that friggin' movie. I could have, Julia Roberts ain't got nothing on me. And
except for she can say moi.
Yeah. The first time reading it, she could say it. So that's that.
And sucks.
So fear, then I'm like, I never want to feel, I don't like feeling this fear. I could not live with it. I didn't know how to deal with it. So I tried to drink it away. And turns
out that doesn't work for all you listeners who are thinking about trying that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, it might work for some, but it didn't work for me. And she said it in here too. She said, whatever is bad for you is probably bad for your work. And, I just no longer, that's when all my creativity died. I just didn't,
That one moment, acting moment. Would you ever act now? Would you act if you could?
I think I would.
I mean, you're acting like a podcaster right now.
Yeah, I'm acting like a podcaster. I do a bit of public speaking because I'm a coach and I get invited and I do a bit of public speaking and I do, this is great. I speak Polish fluently, so I get invited to do a lot of live translations. And this is super interesting. My Polish is on a pretty good level, but it's not expert.
Right.
And I make a lot of mistakes when translating, but they always invite me back because they say I translate the emotion. And the other translators that they have don't do that. They just sit there and they just translate the random. And when somebody's telling a story, I translate I become that person. So I do get to do a little of acting.
I love that. That's so cool.
So I feel like the universe is still allowing me to express that part.
Do
that
your
I used
acting
to love.
career?
Yeah,
you're doing your acting career through that. That's so awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
What is your worst fear with this podcast?
Like I think we mentioned that I do still have a fear of what other people think of me, but I'm no longer allowing it to block me.
Yeah, me too.
I think my biggest fear was, and we're going to get into this later, but I think my biggest fear was that it's already been done. So many people are doing podcasts. But, she gets into dealing with that fear later, which this book really helped me with. But I think my biggest fear also was what my family's going to think of it. That they're not going to approve, that I'm going to be a disappointment,
Which, like, if they've never called you again, you'll know your worst fear came true.
Yeah.
What happened to my mom?
Yeah. How about you? What's your biggest fear with this podcast?
That my whole family is going to be embarrassed to have me as in their family. That I'm going to be a hack. Yeah. Like I'm not like people are going to be like, oh, she's so full of shit. Which they're right. I am full of shit. Yeah. Honestly, like I was afraid that it wasn't going to be good, but like now that I watch it, it is really good. Like I love it.
Yeah, like to us anyway. So
yeah, I like watching it. So fuck it. Like
yeah, and I think that's one of the keys in getting over your fear. Do you love it? Do you love it?
Yes.
And I think, then once we can move past all those fears that she talked about, sort of accepting this fear is here, it's going to be here. What's more important is, am I loving what I'm doing? So I think that's where we're at, and then she goes, moves past fear. And then she starts talking about actual creativity, which is awesome. I really liked everything she said, especially about ideas. Do you remember what she said about ideas?
Yeah, the way that she presents it is that like you are working And an idea is a separate entity, and it will come to you and present to you.
Yeah.
And if you decide to take it, then it works through you. And you can decide to take it, it works through you, and then you just like don't give it enough attention and it will leave you.
Yeah.
Which I've actually experienced many times.
Yeah.
Through my writing and stuff like that. But it's kind of nice because it makes you feel as though, I kind of feel chosen, one. And I like that because my ego loves it. It's like, it thinks I can do this. It thinks I can do this podcast. Yay. But it also, if I fail, it kind of takes the heat off of me too. Like, okay, well, this fucked up idea came to me.
Yeah.
Worked through me, and it was bullshit.
Well, even what you just said, an idea came to me. Not I created an idea. Idea came to me. So she talks about that a lot, that ideas are, I'm going to quote her, ideas are driven by a single impulse to be made manifest. So it's almost like these ideas are floating around and they're looking for the right host, and they want to just burst out of the stomach like Alien,
I love that. And if it happens, it's going to be Nicolas Cage's face.
Yeah. So I think that's awesome. And I so believe in that because this podcast, it was in you. It was in you, right?
This fucking idea has been coming to me and coming to me and coming to me. And I have been looking for the right co-host and looking, and here we are. For over a year, we're talking every day. And obviously we're fucking hilarious.
Every Monday. Every Monday.
Yes. Every day. It only feels like that. So every Monday, we have been talking for over a year.
Yeah.
And we're hilarious. We're so funny. It's so entertaining. It's so fulfilling. And I'm like, wait a second. We have a podcast. We're just not fucking recording it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the idea was like, finally they got it.
Like, God, like it was like
after a year.
Yeah, it felt like
this idea is like, you know what?
I don't have
if this
time
doesn't happen now,
like,
I'm fucking out of here.
If she doesn't come before like I'm done. Spent.
Yeah. So one of my favorite quotes, and it's the sort of the premise of the whole book, and I just love it. It's the universe buries strange jewels deep within us all and then stands back to see if we can find them. So this, I believe, is the central question upon which all creative living hinges. Do you have the courage to bring forth the treasures that are hidden within you? And that's it. It's like everybody has their thing, and then the ideas come and they kind of latch onto those things. And it all comes together in a big, beautiful...
Big magic. Big magic, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we do a banter break?
Let's do a banter break.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. But before we do, I'd love to share our Patreon info. Patreon is a great service. It provides support for artists like ourselves. Creatives like ourselves, and you can log on and support us if you like what we do. If you kind of like it and you think we could do better, support us, and then we can.
Yeah, just give us some money, people.
Throw some money at it.
Throw some money. If you like us, give us some money. If you don't like us, give us some money.
we
show me how big your magic is, okay?
Debt kills creativity, she said, and we don't want that. So
no, we can't have debt. You gotta help us.
Let's keep us going. The website that you can go to is www.patreon. It's patreon.com, and then there's a / and it's We Need Help Podcast written together. We Need Help Podcast. So that's www.patreon.com / We Need Help Podcast. Feel free to subscribe.
Yay! Thank you in advance. Welcome back, everybody.
We're back.
We need help. We need some motherfucking help.
We should just write our own song because we were trying to get some songs with the word help in it, and it's like these artists
you have to have anal sex with the Beatles to be able to use their
they
song.
want like $1 million.
They want you to take it in the backyard.
Yeah,
and that's God damn it.
I don't do that. So I think we're gonna write our own song.
And I was like, is it a good time for me to maybe like offer my mom help? Like I talked about anal and then I was gonna bring up my mom and I felt weird about that.
Yeah.
This is when I'm trying to be creative, but my fear got in the way there. Like anal then mom. No, feels wrong.
No.
Okay. So maybe my mom could write. My mom's really good at writing songs.
Oh, yeah. Ask her to write.
Yes, and
We
she
Need
can
Help
write
anthem.
really funny songs too.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, I'll put her on that.
Cool.
Mom, hey mom, have that done by 5:00 today. Thanks. She'll be like, fuck you.
So we mentioned before the break that the universe buries strange jewels deep within us all. Stands back to see if we can find them. What are your strange jewels? What's your thing, girl?
All right, I'm going to say what I'm good at.
Yeah.
I can throw a hell of a party.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really good at cooking. I can do super well at wrapping presents. I think I'm creative when it comes to doing nice things for people. Like I can see what will make them happy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that I'm a really great writer.
I think you are. Does that spark joy? Sorry, I'm using another author, Mary Kondo.
When I say I feel like I'm a great writer, it makes me scared.
Okay.
Because when I say that, and I fucking know it's true, like I am funny, words come out of me in a unique way, but I don't want people to judge me when, she thinks she's a great writer,
No.
So when I say that, it makes me nervous, but I think I'm a pretty good gift giver. What else is creative? Like I can draw.
Yeah,
I don't mind my voice either. I think I can sing.
And I think she mentions this too. It's not even about, because you said a couple times, I'm a good. It's not even about being good.
Yeah, well,
right. She mentions that about creativity. She's like, she mentions
I only like doing things I'm good at.
There's your problem.
Is that a problem? Because I'm not saying I'm not good at anything.
You're good at all those things, but that doesn't matter. That shouldn't matter. Right?
I know. Right? That's what she said, but it does matter to me. I like to be good at things. I know, Elizabeth, we can sit down when we go on vacation together and talk about this at length. I mean, is it wrong to like being good at something?
There's no right or wrong here.
Oh no, we're in therapy. Do I have to pay $150 for this sesh?
And our time's up.
Yeah, I'm always racing against the clock in therapy.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much more I need to say.
My God, my bit's not almost I go into a bit mode. I go I'm doing a comedy routine. Yeah.
Is this thing on?
Don't forget to tip your waitresses. My therapist is always like, mm-hmm.
How do they do it? I, if I was a therapist, would just be cracking up all the time.
I would be too. I would be you're such a pussy. 1. Get the fuck over it. 2. Grow up. 3.
My thing would be, and
why that matters. Why?
Okay.
Tell me, you talk too much. That's half your problem, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I could set up a funeral in no time. I could plan a wedding in 4 hours.
You could.
I love doing that.
Yeah.
I love doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to get my sister to start a party planning business with me. I think she's scared because I'm a fucking nightmare to work with. But she'd have to do all the stupid work because I'm not doing that.
That's funny.
That's all the stuff she's good at. She could have told me last night, I am your personal assistant, right? Like, you just don't, pay me.
God bless her.
I love her. I love you, Katie.
Katie, I love you too. I haven't met you yet, but I can't wait. I'm just going to give you the longest hug when we meet.
She needs it. She needs it bad.
Yeah,
What's your nuggets that the Lord or that the universe impregnated you with?
What's your Jesus nugget? My Jesus nugget?
What did the Lord put up in you today? Put place within your soul.
My Jesus nuggets.
God. Okay. Why do I keep picturing you having sex with Jesus? Is that weird?
That's a whole nother show.
Okay.
So my thing that brings me joy, honestly, it's this podcast because this is what I never knew I wanted to do it. And this is this fairy dust that we were talking about in the book too.
Yes.
Like the fairy dust this is the big magic. I was good at like this random stuff, like doing accents. Like people are always like, do the accent. Like one of my friend Kelly and I, we would come up with different accents and we would just do the accents. And she's always, do the accent, And I'm like, where can I use that? Like,
you're chief in charge of accents on this We Need Help podcast, right? Like,
and I love doing it. I just thought it was I would entertain myself. I love reading, but I never thought, and the acting thing, I always wanted to do it, but I didn't. I actually did not star, but I had a second. What is the second role? Not the main actors, but there's what are they called? The extras.
The understudy. Oh, extra.
I was an extra in a couple. No, it wasn't even an extra. There's the main actors, and then what are the second? Not extras, but the second. So I had a couple lines. So I wasn't exactly an extra.
In a Hollywood movie?
No, it was in a Polish. No, it was in a Polish.
Bollywood even? Is it Bollywood?
It wasn't even Bollywood. I think Bollywood's bigger than Hollywood. It was a Polish.
Yeah.
It was a Polish TV show, but it was directed by Agnieszka Holland, who is
shout out.
She made it. She's a Polish lady that made it. But so I started. I was a.
I can't.
I had 3 lines. I had to say.
Can you say them immediately?
Yeah, I had to say the president of Poland has been shot because I was playing a TV reporter.
That's just chills down my spine.
I was playing a TV
for
reporter.
all you listeners out there, did you guys know that Poland had a president? Because I did not.
We don't anymore. He's been shot. No.
Oh!
He's still alive. He's still alive. But
shout out to the Polish president. Is it a girl or a boy?
It's a boy. His name is. He's got the worst. Sorry, Duda.
Duda, Duda, play that song all day long. Oh, the Duda day. That's pretty good.
And so I did act, but it wasn't. It was, I was reading from a script and it was one line and I had to keep doing it over and over.
You're an actor. You're legit an actor now. You can put that on your resume.
But I like this so much more because you know what? My jewel is, and you called it for me. You said a long time ago, I want to get paid for being a funny friend. That's my jewel. I'm the funny friend.
We are funny friends together. And that's
our jewel. Who knew that this could be a creative process? And that's,
Well, I don't want to brag, but I did. Me, who knew?
Yeah. So I think that's lovely. And she just talks about finding that what gives you joy and loving it and doing it.
And you're a really good gift giver.
I am. Yes. I'm a creative gift giver as well.
She's
I really
like
think hard about what to do.
Amazing gift giver. Like one time I was kind of down and she sent me these series of presents. I'll be talking about them till the day I die. They were like the most thoughtful fucking presents in the world. I love that about you.
Oh, I love you.
I love you. Oh, we love each other. It's so amazing.
So moving on so getting past fear, what is it about you that's creative? Where does your creativity lie? And then at the end, it's like, own it.
Yes.
And yeah.
She talks about creative entitlement.
Yeah. Can you just explain what that is? Because when I hear the word entitlement, I think of Generation X or Y or whatever. Like,
I think everybody in Naples entitlement.
Oh, okay.
Not everybody. There's really cool people in Naples.
Yeah, you,
me,
your husband,
and all the people I hang out with. But there is like entitlement is like a bad word, kind of like manipulation.
Yeah.
Manipulation is not a bad thing until you use it with a dark art.
Yeah.
So I kind of look at creative entitlement is taking your place that you're supposed to have, your birthright.
Like thinking I deserve it. I deserve it and I'm okay with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like you're doing a disservice not to take your place.
Got it.
Like you're actually not using what your mama gave you. You know what I mean? Like it's like if you don't choose to take your birthright, which is these like little special things about each one of us. I mean, I could name them for everyone I know.
Everyone has them. Yeah.
Everyone has something. And if you choose not to use it, it's kind of like a fuck you to the universe, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I love what you just said about that. Yeah.
It is. Like, it's like, okay, here I am. Now I just have to fit in. I have to be a sheep. I don't want to make eye contact with anything great, grand. Instead, she presents it as it's your entitlement. It's your birthright. It's your place in the world.
You've been given this jewel and you're allowed to show it.
Yeah.
Or enjoy it. You don't even have to show it. You can just have it for yourself. Which, Yeah. I love that.
I love that too.
Yeah. And she basically, kind of finishes up the book saying, just own it without this worry of what other people think of it. You can't be concerned what everybody thinks, and everyone's reaction, and she mentions that. And it's
shit.
I'm going to quote her.
Okay, let me ask you this. Have you pictured people watching this? Like certain people?
I have certain people in my mind
that I am like, too.
That I
Shout
am
out.
That I am afraid of what they're going to think of it. I am.
Okay. All right.
But here's what we can say to them, right?
Go fuck yourself.
You do have such a way with words, Elizabeth.
Gilbert.
Lizzy. What if people, this is by Elizabeth Gilbert from the book. What if people absolutely hate what you've created? What if people attack you and insult your intelligence and malign your motives and drag your good name through the mud? Just smile sweetly and suggest, as politely as you possibly can, that they can make their own fucking art.
I love it.
Yeah.
Go make your own fucking podcast.
Yeah. I mean, she says, I have some other quotes of hers, that the outcome cannot matter. And this one I really loved. Imagine if I had tried to create a definition of myself based on the reactions of others. I mean, people are always, there's going to be lovers, there's going to be haters, there's going to be so many. That's why it's like so important for you to love it for you
Yeah.
to really love it.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
And I like, there's a part in there that she talks about, she cringes every time someone says they're going to make a book to help somebody.
Yeah.
Remember
Like,
that?
yeah, solely
She's
thinking
like,
about others and helping
like,
others. So.
yeah, she's like, please don't help me. And I like, that resonated with me so well because I started an entire company to try to help women be better to each other. And it was fun. It is. I still have it. It's the Stella box. And it became exhausting because I know I'm a good friend. And now I'm like taking it upon myself to like help everyone not be cunts to each other.
Can you tell our listeners what the Stella box is about and
It's
you
a
know what
box
happened there?
that you send to your girlfriend when she's in a breakup. And it's fucking hilarious. It's amazing. The box is great. But I wanted to like shine some light in people's darkness. I wanted to help people in that way. And then I just like moved on with like the whole company in that way, which is to be like help suggest becoming better friends to each other and women being nicer to each other.
Yeah.
The problem is it is not for me.
Yeah.
It really like I mean the box is great and that's wonderful and it's hilarious, but like I'm not in a breakup,
Yeah.
you know? Like I haven't been in a breakup in a long time. Let's hope to keep it that way.
Jason.
Jason, I love you.
Please don't leave Lizzy.
Or if you do, like just make it like rip it off like a band-aid. No,
Yeah, I think there's something to be said to that when you're thinking too much of the others rather than what is sparking joy within you. And I'm going to read what she wrote about it because it's so fantastic. Elizabeth Gilbert, again, whenever someone tells me they want to write a book to help other people, I always think, oh, please don't. Please don't try and help me. It's very kind of you to try and help people, but please don't make it your sole creative motive because we feel the weight of your heavy intention and it will put a strain upon our souls. It reminds me of this wonderful adage from British columnist Catherine Whitehorn. You can recognize people that live for others by the haunted look on the faces of the others. And that's it. If your sole purpose is I'm doing this all for you, then it's
my God.
Yeah.
I can tell you that is I feel I'm such a codependent and I like give and do everything for everybody. And then
you feel drained.
I'm drained beyond recognition and there's no way they can be as good to me as I have been to them because they're like have some self-worth.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I love the haunted whenever somebody tells me, I'm worried about you. Can I help you? And I'm like, and like I feel the weight of that because then I feel pressure.
Please don't help me.
Yeah, I feel pressure that so that I could totally relate to that. I loved her whole thing of owning it. And she had a wonderful story in there with a guy who he was living in France. He was sort of in the art world and he was invited to a costume party where there was a lot of fancy people. And he made a wonderful lobster costume. I mean, he got the best fabrics. He just made an all-out, like, from scratch, he sewed this beautiful lobster costume with the claws and the, and he was a tall drink of water, and he walks into this party and he realizes it's like a Renaissance party. So everyone's in like these Renaissance ball gowns and he walks in as a lobster and he had the moment, which we all have, I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah, wanted to run.
He chose to stay and own it because he created with his whole heart and soul this wonderful costume and he ended up being the life of the party. And that's what I'm talking about. And I had a very similar situation because I live in Poland and they invited me to a 80s party, which I thought it was a dress-up party. So I bought a Farrah Fawcett wig and I bought a leopard bell-bottom jumpsuit that was satin.
Oh my God.
With a big pink belt. And I had these star glasses, and I had goldfish.
So beautiful.
They were fake goldfish, but goldfish platform shoes.
Platforms. Oh.
And the Farrah Fawcett wig. And I walked into the club. It was the Warsaw's biggest club, and I was the only one dressed up. And I just was like, okay. And
let's do this.
There's pictures of me probably floating around because everyone wanted pictures with me.
Of course they did.
And I just went in and decided to have the best time, and I had the best time.
I bet you did. Just the attention is like.
Oh, I do have to give a shout out to one of my friends, Monica, because she dressed up with me. So we had the best time because she decided to own it too.
Monica,
so.
Yeah. You guys were like celebrities that night.
We owned it. It was great. And that's what it's about. You know, it's about saying, hey, this is what I created and I'm proud of it.
Did I ever tell you about my sleepover situation?
I've heard a lot of the sleepover stories. So
okay.
Why don't you go?
I don't think you've heard this one. Okay. Picture it. 13 years old, not a cool kid, very skinny.
Yeah.
Very dorky. Got invited to a cool kid's slumber party. I was so happy. And at the bottom it says, bring sweats.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
For working, or like, I didn't know. So it says bring sweats. So I'm reading this. I'm like, this has got to be a typo. They must mean sweets. Like bring candy.
Yeah.
So I brought candy. And these 13-year-old girls wanted to go for a jog and work out. Mm-hmm. What kind of fucking psychopath wants to work out at a slumber party? But so I had made my mom, I begged her, she probably didn't have the money to like run out and get me like 5 bags of sweets because I wanted to be the coolest.
Right.
I brought like licorice, red vines, probably. No, it was probably Twizzlers at the time. It was, I had chocolate, I had a sour option, this, that, and the other thing. But you know what? These bitches ate the candy and they didn't work out. So but I was like fucking humiliated for a second because I didn't have.
But did sweats. You walk in? But you walked in, you owned it, right?
I had to.
Yeah, you had to.
I had to, and I will say that she didn't invite me the next year. I'm fucking glad because if you're going to work out in your own birthday party, you got problems.
I don't want to be friends with you. Yeah. No. Oh, good stuff. So, shall we wrap it up? What are you caring for? What are you taking out of this? What's like when you read this book? What helped you?
Well, there was a part in there about the tortured artist.
Yeah,
and she goes on and on about the rules of a tortured artist, and they were everything from like drinking everything you can. Ruining all your relationships to be miserable so you can create. And she actually did a TED Talk about this. I want to say, can't really remember which one it was. It might have been the 2019 one, but we'll afterbirth that. She talks about like the tortured artist and how it really isn't conducive to actual creativity. Mm-hmm. And so it got me thinking because I really haven't been able to write very well since leaving. We lived in the Virgin Islands. Irma hit. We decided to move to Naples.
Yeah.
And Maria. And so I've just felt like I've had writer's block, this, that, and the other thing. And then so I was reading this book and she said, you don't have to be tortured. And I got to thinking about when I've been able to write the best. And I realized even though I've always written about pain, it's only time I've been able to write is when I've been happy. And I
That's
have
super
been
interesting.
searching and seeking to be able to write and create. And I now realize that when I moved to Chicago all by myself for the first time, I started writing. I've never been happier than that time. Then I moved to the Virgin Islands. I start writing about island life. Never been happier than that time. And now I'm doing this podcast. Never been happier than this time.
Yeah, that's super interesting. And, because you're writing about painful things, but you yourself are detached from that pain and actually very happy.
Absolutely.
That's
I'm
cool.
the phoenix looking down at the fire.
So the pain is not conducive to creativity. The pain is what you're writing about, but it's actually in the process not helpful.
But when I'm laying shattered on a hospital floor, I wasn't being creative.
Yeah.
I was in survival mode.
Yeah.
So once you're the phoenix lives to talk about it because she looks down at the flames.
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing for me. And I realized what was wrong with the Stella Project, my company, is I wasn't doing it for myself. So this has been a huge book for me. Again, huge. She always gives Elizabeth, I love you. Can we please go on vacation together? Izza and I want to meet you. Where would you like to meet her? The Maldives? No.
I'd like to invite her to Poland. I'd like to invite both of you to Poland.
Aww.
I don't know if she's ever been to Poland. I got to do that research. So I would love to show you Poland, actually, because I think it's I always like visiting places where there's locals. So
yeah, I would love to go to Poland with you and Elizabeth.
I mean, there's places that need to be seen here. So I think that's okay. I would love for you both to come and visit me.
She's trying to get on Poland's good side now after she's said stuff.
Yeah. Well, for me, what I got out of this the most is that it just got me thinking differently about creativity. So that I don't have to be a writer or an artist or a painter or a sculptor or a fashion designer or a drag queen or whatever is typically super creative, that I could just use what I got and that it can be creative. Shake what your
mama gave you.
Shake what my mama gave me. And I never thought that was, that I was a creative person. So this book helped me discover that. And she gives a great...
It's so funny. I got to tell you this.
Yeah.
Even just hearing you say this, had you asked me last week, had anyone asked me who who are the most creative people in your life, I would have said you.
I don't think that about myself, or I didn't until now, So this book made me realize. And then what I love is just, she talks about the ice skater example where she had a friend who was an ice skater in high school and she couldn't be the best ice skater, so she stopped and she didn't look back. And then when she was in her 40s, she's like, what did I really love to do? I loved ice skating. And she took out her skates. She went and got back on the ice, and she's skating to this day, and she's loving it. And you wouldn't think of ice skating either as, figure skating. Yeah. Okay. But you don't think of that as super great, but that is just doing what you love and being okay with that. And, I love that.
I got an ice skating story for you real quick. So we're moving right now, listeners. Yeah. I'm moving right now, which is a real pain in the ass. So Jason says to me last night, hey, what's with all those rollerblades up in there's 3 pairs of rollerblades. I was like, those aren't rollerblades. Those are ice skates. I watched some Hallmark movie about ice skating and ordered Jason, Scarlett, and I all ice skates randomly. They've never been taken out of the box in Naples, Florida.
Yeah. I love that so much.
I'm so fucking ambitious on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One quote, one Jesus nugget that I'm taking out of this book is it might have been
stop with the sex Jesus comment.
Nugget. Where are you getting sex from nugget? Nugget is something delicious that you eat.
I don't know why it makes me think of sex.
Okay.
That's another book.
That's another book. This quote, "It might have been done before, but it hasn't been done by you."
That is
My
the best.
biggest fear about this podcast, as soon as we started talking about doing it, I, of course, got on, and there's like a couple other podcasts that are doing something very similar. And I was like, oh my God, we're going to
be copycats. Like, that's the worst fucking thing you can be.
Yeah. But it might have been done before, but it hasn't been done by us, you know?
Exactly.
And she
and
also
there's
says,
nobody like us.
Yeah. And she said, done is better than good, which I love.
Okay.
Like, just do it.
And I love that, like, you have to be like, God dang it. So what was the quote? She said, you have to be, this is the best. She says, you must learn to become a deeply dedicated half-ass. And I'm like, that is me. That's us.
That is us.
We are such dedicated we show up.
We do. We prepare, kind of.
No,
we do.
We do prepare. But, like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And I really don't. I've been laughing for, like, weeks about failing. It's so funny.
It is. It is.
It
you
is
know?
so,
because the best stories come from failing.
It's so funny. I don't know, like, why everybody's so against it. I mean, success is rather boring.
Yeah.
Compared to, like, a trip. Like, if you're just walking, if you're just walking down a sidewalk and nothing happens, that's bullshit. But if you fucking, like, walk down the side, trip, and bust your ass, then you are, like, that's fucking funny.
Do you remember Saturday Night Live, Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy?
Yes.
He's got one. For all our listeners who are, like, not this old, there used to be this Saturday Night Live bit. It was like, Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy. And it was just like, one of them was, when I'm walking down the street and I see an old lady fall down on the sidewalk, my first tendency is to laugh. But then I think, what if I was an ant on the sidewalk and the old lady fell on me? Then it wouldn't seem so funny.
Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. This was the We Need Help review of Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. We're so happy that you joined us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you. Go get yourself some help.
Go get some help. If you can't help yourself, go help somebody else. It'll make you feel better.
I love it. Help! Help! Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Rate and follow us if you like us. If you don't, please don't.
And come visit us at www.theweneedhelppodcast.com. There you can find show notes, links for books. You can join Audible, which is, how we actually read our books. We listen to them. And we have special exclusive content just for you. Also, feel free to subscribe to our Patreon account. That's where you can support us financially because we need it. And it can be anywhere from $1 to $100 billion a month, whatever you can afford. And the link to our Patreon account is www.patreon, and that's spelled patreon.com/We Need Help Podcast. And you can support us on there. We would really appreciate it because we do need help.
Awesome. And we will see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Thanks,
Bye.
loves. Bye.